Good afternoon, Teacher Gabriela. My name is Mayra Loja. Here I introduce my ID card. The topic for today is going to be plagiarism and its types. We are going to start talking about concept of plagiarism. Within education, plagiarism is considered like a deterrent to death in where some students consciously or unconsciously perform plagiarism in their activities, in their tasks, in their investigation, and their homework. Basically, plagiarism means took information from different sources like books, journals, articles, videos, images. They took information, took ideas, took certain words, or even the completely words without authorization, without mention or giving credit to the principal or the main author. The importance of learning and being aware of plagiarism. The important is that you are going to take care of ideas from someone else and respect the other people's investigation. One important point here is that as students, they will be able in the future to create their own works or their own investigation more academically respectful because the students are going to know how to cite correctly, and this is very important to know about plagiarism. Now we have here some effects, positive and negatives. Regarding the positive effect, when you know why plagiarism is bad, you are going to help to acknowledge the dependence on others' person ideas. Another thing is you are going to identify your own ideas from others' authors. Now, regarding the negative effect when you do plagiarism in your investigation or in your homework, is that you are going to have low grades and you are going to get any punishment depending the amount or information or ideas that you steal and you don't cite. You are going to have a punishment. Now, we are going to focus on types of plagiarism. We're going to start with complete plagiarism. In this case, complete plagiarism is one of the most common plagiarisms applied by students because the only thing that they do here is copy and paste information and publish in another site. Basically, the students at the end of this homework, the only thing that they change is the name because at the end they are going to put their own name. Basically, they took information from sources like books, journals, websites, and published as their own. I'm going to explain this with a little example. As we can hear, the student, the only thing that to do here is the example is here was explain about what academic reading. What is academic reading? Explain, and the student only to do is copy and paste. The student in this case, they don't change anything. The only thing that they change here is the name at the end of the page. Now we are going to talk about source-based plagiarism. It happens when the student use two sources and change the real authors, or sometimes the student only cite one author, and sometimes could be to the student does not cite a source. I'm going to explain this with example. In this case, the example was explain the importance of the nervous system. In this case, the student used two sources for this investigation. However, the student only cite one. In this case, the part that is missing here is one site because we have two sources. Now, we are going to start with direct or Bergman plagiarism. And this type of plagiarism refers when a person directly describes word by word. However, in this case, the students are going to put attention only in specific sentences or sections of the words, and sometimes the students eliminate some sentences from the original and add more information. It's important to mention in here that this kind of plagiarism not only apply for books or journals or magazines. No, basically it includes presentation, interviews, videos, audios, movies, among others. In this case, I'm going to explain this with a little example. Listen to the video and write a summary. The student correct write a summary. However, the student only took specific information at the minute 6 until 7. The student took a little paragraph and they write the summary. This is one kind of plagiarism. And also here is missing the cite. Self or auto plagiarism. It happens when the students use again their work in another work. For example, the student present a certain topic. This work was designed a grade, and in another course, the student have the same topic and they reuse this information. Basically, the student basically previous collated data. I'm going to explain this with a little example. As we can see here, write about the importance of use Quizlet in your classroom. This tag was designed for the year 2022. And the student, in this case, developed this topic the last year. And the student are going to reuse this information and only are going to change certain things like name, the teacher, the year sometimes, and could add more information. But it's important that in this type of plagiarism, the students are going to duplicate specific words. They are going to publish documents. The students in this part are going to raise a claim. Paraphrasing plagiarism. In this case, the students are going to alter a few words, but retain the same sentence structure used by the original author. In this case, the students are going only to maintain the main idea, but are going to change some words. I'm going to explain this here. In this case, progress has been so slower than was anticipated. Progress has not been as rapid as expected. As we can see here, has the same idea, however, have different words. This is about paraphrasing plagiarism. In this case, inaccurate authorship plagiarism. In this case, it's known as misleading attribution, in where the student contributes material to a group paper, but the first author or authors do not give them any credit. I'm going to explain this with a little example. As we can hear that the task or the activity is identifying some attitudes of a student through relation. In this case, the student performed the activity. However, the student here made a mistake. We have here 1, 2, 3, and 4 authors. But the student in his homework only cite one author. What in the reality the student needs to do is this. This is the correct site. This is the incorrect. This is a kind of plagiarism. Now we are going to talk about mosaic plagiarism. In this case, basically the students are going to use synonyms to replace certain words that exist in the work that the main author, and they are going to the students are going to pass off as that work as their own work. In this case, the students are going to maintain the same general instruction and the main idea. As we can see here, it's the same paragraph. This is the original, this is the task, and the student only change here certain words, like, for example, tiny, small. In this case, a wild animal is an animal that is wild. This means that it isn't tame. In this case, the student reduced that sentences. A wild animal is not domestic, has the same meaning. Only the change here is the student reduce. Now, we are going to talk about accidental plagiarism. In this case, of course, when the student mistakes the views of author for another. In this case, the students are going to perform a plagiarism using similar words, or sometimes they don't mention the person who designed that. Okay, and the causes about that happen that is the students being stressed or disorganized. They don't know how to cite correctly. They don't apply a correct quotation marks. They don't give in the proper credit for someone else's ideas. They don't know how to cite the reference source. And we're going to how does prevent plagiarism. It's very important here that the student understand in order to apply, in order to prevent or do not apply plagiarism. It's very important the student here understand why plagiarism is bad. In other example, there could be that the student need to know and need to learn all the rules about how to avoid plagiarism. And then the students in this case also can know about the different type of plagiarism, how to cite correctly, because sometimes it's different because it's not the same cite with one author and 2, 3 or more. Another important thing is improve reading comprehension, select correct, select the things that catch you, those that catch you in order to improve your critical thinking. It's very important to not procrastinate with your task of investigation, because sometimes investigation took of time and you need to put all your effort here. Another point could be create your own notes, improve your arguments with relevant information, of course using ideas from someone else, but it's very important that you cite all the information that you use in order to create your own style. Here, teacher, I present all the reference that I use in order to develop this activity, in order to develop this video. And that's all about my video, teacher.